All right. Welcome to today's outlook. We're majorly going to focus on the pairs that have trading potential throughout this coming week. Yeah, so let's just go straight into Euro USD. Of course, the way we usually do it here, we want to see the long perspective. What is the longest perspective? How are you seeing the market on the bigger trend, the bigger time frame? And then be able to see how you can be able to trade it throughout the whole week. So for us to understand that, of course, we have to look at the monthly, which makes a lot of sense, the way we've been trading. So when you look at the monthly, we have a lot of bearish pressure. And then we have our areas here, which are very important areas that we usually look at. So this is our area of price difference, and whatever you want to call it, maybe an area of support. And then maybe also these lows, the previous monthly lows. So I just mark the previous monthly lows where we can potentially get some price support or price reaction. All right. So if you look at this month is bearish. So then, of course, we have to come into the weekly, which is very, very important. Helps us understand exactly where we would want to scale in and have entries. Yeah, the week has just closed with a lot of bearish pressure. But if you look at this area, this is an important area where we shall be looking for some potential trading opportunities. So we just have to mark it, these weekly lows and that weekly high. These are very interesting areas where we can begin to look for trading opportunities in case the market pulls back. All right. So remember, this was our the other week's high. And since the market has been bearish, you realize that price just went to this weekly high and then was able to drop down and continue with the trend, which you see from the weekly. It's clearly bearish, showing you the dollar is very strong. So if we're going to trade the dollar on the weekly, these are the most important areas where we shall begin to look for trades. So if we get a strong pullback into this region here, we could actually be looking for selling opportunity for continuous strength of the dollar. Better still, we can, if the dollar pushes down to this key level, weekly low, we could be looking for potential long positions, temporary one. So we'll be looking for buying opportunity. But that being said, it is important for us to understand the fundamental aspects, what fundamental events are going to be happening this week. So for us to understand that, we can just pull out our economic calendar and we see what is going to happen from 11th Monday. So if you look at Monday 11th, there is no high impact news. We have a couple of low to medium term events, especially on the JPY, Euro. So there's nothing so serious about that. Until Tuesday, that's when we have the claimant count change, the GBP claimant count change, where they will want to understand unemployment in the UK. So that is when we have that major event. So we'll look at some pound pair also, a breakdown of it from the weekly perspective. But that will be on Tuesday. And then coming on to Wednesday, we have the GDP, the pound GDP. And then by around 9 a.m., and then we round off by having CPI. So this is a very interesting week. We're going to have the CPI for the dollar. So will the CPI continue to facilitate the dollar strength because the dollar is currently strong, or will it give us some temporary dollar weakness? We shall have to see that. And then on Thursday, we have the employment change and unemployment rate for Aussie. And then we have Euro main refined monetary policy statement. And then we have CPI also. So there's a lot of fundamentals starting from Wednesday to Thursday. So we shall have to see how all of those will be able to play out in the way we are going to be trading. And then on Friday, we have also Empire State Manufacturing Index. We round it off with that. So with that being said, we have our levels on the weekly. We're looking for trading opportunities. around there. Maybe if I am to come to my daily time frame, on the daily, this is an area we will definitely be looking for the market. So in case there is a pullback into this region, this is where we shall begin to look for our trading opportunities, depending on how you trade and how you see the market. Better still, if we don't get, as price continues to come here, we will see what happens of that. So this is what we have on Euro USD. Let's see how it plays out. Okay, so it is important usually for you to understand market cycle. How is the market trending? And the easiest way to understand the market cycle is to just look at the higher time frames. But it is also important for me to be able to break down to us what market cycles are. So market cycle is just understanding the series of patterns and trends that happen in the market. So if you know what cycle the market is in, it becomes a little bit easier for you to be able to analyze the market and have trading opportunities based on the cycle that the market is in. So they are majorly about 4 market cycle. If you do your research well, I told you already, the market cycle are just a series of patterns and then trends, which are cyclical, meaning they continue to happen again and again. So the first market cycle, of course, that many people usually know is the accumulation phase. The accumulation phase is that phase in which the market has, let's say the market has bottomed, and then price begins to tank around that region, and investors now begin to start buying because they assume the worst has already happened. So in Forex, that can be like the worst in terms of this pair and this pair. Like right now, the dollar is stronger than the euro. So will this be our accumulation stage down here? We'll have to see that depending on that. Or again, the other stage is what they call the markups. So the markup stage is that stage in which the market has been that stable, and then from stability, the market suddenly continues to push up. That has been happening for the euro all along. Euro has been in that second stage of markup. If you look at it from around here, the market has been forming series of higher highs. That is what we meant by the markup stage. And then until when it formed this high and it will not go further up, now it is coming back to this area here, which you would call your area of support. So we want to see whether in this area here, after the markup stage of the market has been happening, will this be the area in which the market will be able to bounce off? Will accumulation begin to happen here and the market bounces off? That is what we shall have to see throughout this coming week or into the next week or until this whole month. Yeah, but if you look at it from the bigger picture of the monthly, there is that we are in the downtrend stage, which is also the other form of market cycle. So the other market form is the downtrend. So we have the accumulation, we have the markup, we have the downtrend, which we are in now. So when we are comparing this market of Euro USD, we would conclusively say the Euro USD is in a downtrend. And therefore, after the downtrend, the next thing we usually expect from a downtrend is, will there be an accumulation? Okay. But as long as there are no accumulation, that is when we continue to focus with our weekly highs and monthly highs. So these are our weekly highs. So in case the price pushes back to this region, we'll be looking for selling opportunities. The same way, what happens here? This was our previous weekly high. So the market had pushed down all the way up to here, and then we saw a big push to the upside. And then after that, we saw another market pushing down. So will this same thing happen here? Because this is our weekly high, and we want to see whether price will come here. All right. Now, after understanding this stage that the market is in, which is the downtrend, and then we know about the accumulation, then the other stage or the market cycle is the distribution stage, which is just also another form for like downtrend. The market goes up. After going up, like to these levels, after heading all the way to high after the markup phase, then the market begins to distribute. This is when supply is at a higher force and the market begins to trend downwards. So this is what we have on Euro USD. So let's see how the week plays out. And just maybe to let us know, I could actually add another dollar pair before we can move into the other pairs. All right, let me get for us a USD card. All right, a pair in which the dollar is a base and a pair in which the dollar is a quote. All right, so Euro USD, the dollar has been a quote, and now USD card, the dollar is the base. Just basic information, when the dollar is strong and the dollar happens to be the quote, the market just trends to the downside. But when the dollar is strong and the dollar happens to be the base, the market trends up. As simple as that. So we had noted last time that this was our area of weekly, of the yearly lows. And then we have these areas of the yearly highs. And then I have our area of price difference on the yearly, that. So where are we now? We are defined that we are trading around this region here. And as we trade around this region, we need to also understand how price is reacting and moving. So coming to the monthly, we had pointed out these are our monthly lows, which are also acting as our monthly support. So market had come down here and it's beginning to push up now. So we are on the bigger picture, there is a possibility of the market coming all the way to these highs. But then that will depend entirely on how price breaks these monthly highs. We have these highs. So we are seeing price heading to that. So as long as the dollar strength continues, we'll be seeing price heading all the way up to here. But better still, we need to understand these also areas of price difference. So it will help us understand if there's a pullback, then there's a possibility of us looking for buying opportunities around this region. So we can go onto the weekly chart and then we see that. So remember, this was the other week's low. So that is where we had trading opportunities, but we're looking for some buying opportunities here. So we have today this weekly low. Will the market be able to return to this low before it can shoot up here? That is what we shall get to see and understand. So we'll be waiting for price and see what will happen here. If the dollar strength will continue, then we can know that these are our levels in which we shall begin to look for buying opportunity and then possibly scaling all the way up to here. This is usually when the trend does not change. All right. But what do I mean by the trend changing? If we suddenly have a strong break whereby the market begins to take away these lows, then we can know there is a change in trend. But as we talk now, the market is just forming. This is where we had our accumulation stage. And remember, this was our monthly support. So the market accumulated around this region. And then after accumulation, we begin to have the next stage, which was the markup stage, and the market has been continuing to push up. We had a resistance here, which was broken, and the market continued to go up. And then here we had a pullback, and now we are seeing the market doing that. So will there be distribution? That is what we shall see. So the best place to begin to look for distribution would be around this region here. But then price is still far from reaching there. We still have this weekly low. Yeah, so that is it with the dollar. Remember, we have CPI coming out this week. So maybe we can stop here on the dollar and go to another pair. Yeah, it is important to look at some pound pairs because we have important pound news coming up on Tuesday, the Clement change. So let's look at some pound pairs. Let's look at a pound pair that does not have the dollar, because we already understand the nature in which the dollar is moving strong. So let's look at GBP AUD. This is one of my favorite pairs. I like to trade it a lot. But anyway, let's have a breakdown on this pair. Again, we can do it from the highest time frame possible, which is the yearly. The year just closed. We have 3 months to the close of the yearly candle. Yeah, so it is important for us to understand it. So this is our highest price, our yearly high. Meaning if you remove the idea of time in your head, this is where you could assume this is our resistance area, and we want to see price heading up all the way up to here. But to understand price better, you need to always have to scale down to lower time frames and be able to understand how price is moving. So these were areas of our previous monthly lows, and then we had another monthly low here, which is happening now. And then now we have a very important area at this point. So that's our area of price difference. All right. And then we want to see this high. Remember, this was the market had pushed all the way up to here. And then now there was a pullback. So we have a week which will have to be filled. So will this week be filled this month? Or will it take us up to next month? That is what we shall have to see. But now price broke above this previous resistance, or what you call it, the difference in prices, because this was the price the market had trended in so far, and then the market came and formed a new fresh high, taking away the previous price. That's what we call it, the price difference. So we want to understand more on the weekly. So when price reaches this level, we want to see exactly how we are going to possibly trade, whether we shall have some distribution, I mean like accumulation happening here, so that before we can be able to take it all the way up there. So this is what we have, but don't forget, this is a weekly high. We have our weekly high here. So will price be able to come to this weekly high and then continue down, or will price reach down here to these levels before we can be able to trend to the upside? That is what we shall get to see. But if all that doesn't happen, we still have a weekly low here. So we are going to be seeing what happens around this region. Okay. So whatever happens around this region will determine whether we are going to come all the way to this weekly level, or will price just from here come back to this level. That is what we shall have to observe and see in this coming week. So coming to the daily, this is what we see. We have our highs here. So this is where, so price is kind of trapped into this. So we saw a big move to the downside. And then once price was able to move to the downside, we were able to see this is we had an entry here, and then we swung it for some 300 pips. So maybe to just, I think I will have to show you, but it was sent in the group. But this is what we have now. We have these highs, and then we want to see whether we can be able to, price will reach here and possibly take a trade. All right. So we are in a bearish situation here, waiting for accumulation to happen, possibly around this region, to be able to take a trade. Okay. So that is it with pound. So the coming pound news, let's see how they will be able to play with that. So with that being said, let's add one more pound pair, and then we can call it off for the pound. So let's go with pound Swiss. Remember, if you've watched our previous videos, there is a very important element we talked about, the Swiss pairs. So I don't want to repeat the whole thing again, but please, you can check them out. I'm sure you will learn a lot about the Swiss. We had a good breakdown on the Swiss pair. So when you look at the Swiss, this is the low the price has ever been. And then we have our areas of price difference here. So majorly we are trading around here, meaning we have a wick which is potentially going to be filled, meaning the Swiss is going to continue to be strong on the bigger picture. Then when you come to the monthly stage, this is what we get to see. So we have our area of price difference, and then we have this whole area which has been acting as a support. Price has been playing around this area for quite some time. But then we have these monthly lows, which we want to see price coming into, fill up these gaps. And then this week, also let's see whether it will be filled, price coming all the way up to here, and we can possibly have some trading opportunity of about 1,000 pips. Yes, it's possible. We've been catching trades for 1,000 pips and holding them for that long. So right now, coming into the weekly, let's see how the week closed. So this was our area in which price has been, which is now acting as our area of resistance. But don't forget, this is our weekly high. So will this weekly high remain as a resistance in case price pushes up to this region? We can possibly look for some selling opportunities here because we are targeting these lows to be filled, and then eventually, if there's a break occurring and price continue to break these support levels, these ones we can potentially scale in all the way up to here and then have those trading opportunities. So looking at it from the daily, this is what we have. So this has been our resistance area. So you can see each time price was able to come here, it would bounce back. And now here we have another possible resistance area based on the weekly time frame. So will price come here and then be able to sell after going up here, or will price just continue to come down here before we can begin to see another bounce here? So depending on how you trade with your confirmations, this is what we would like to see and expect for next week. So let's see how that goes. So we've broken down around 4 pairs, learned something about market cycle. And then looked at the fundamentals, so about the pound and some other pairs. So we can just go into another pair and see how we can be able to trade some other pair. So we've also looked at some pound pairs, some dollar pairs. So let's dive into another pair. Let's look at CAD pairs. Will there be some serious CAD movement this week? All right. So let's go to a CAD pair that does not have a pound, a CAD pair that does not have the dollar, and a CAD pair that does not have the Swiss, because we've looked at that. So let's go to NZDCAD and see how this whole thing plays out next week. So again, the best option would be to look at the market from the highest time frame possible. So from this highest time frame, this is the week, which will act as our support. The whole of this has to be filled. So you can see there's a lot of bearishness here. The CAD is stronger than the New Zealand. Yeah, so that already defines for us the circle at which the market is in. So this is our support, our lows, where we want to see whether price is going to head all the way up to here. And then this is our previous monthly resistance, where price has been, market forms a new low, which takes away all these lows and then pushes back up. We briefly explained this in our Swiss pair. So the video is available. Just go and look at the video. Usually when the market takes away the previous lows, what happens? The fresh lows. When you have these lows taken out, they usually bounce up. The market moved all the way here, found this resistance, and is headed back downward. So now we're in a situation whereby the market is just coming all the way to this level here. So once we define that from the higher time frame, and we understand clearly that this market is at a distribution stage, or what you would call the downtrend, is just headed downwards. So the distribution started to occur here when there's too much supply in the market because of this resistance. And now we are seeing all of these areas. Market is just headed downwards. So this is also an important area of price difference. And we're seeing market just headed downwards to this region. So when we come to the weekly, this is what we see. This was the other week's high, and price has been just headed downward. So basically, we want to see a further break of this area here, because this is a small area of accumulation on the lower time frames. Price has been accumulating around this region. So now what do we want to see here? We just want to see a clear break. If price is able to break this is the 4-hourly time frame. If price breaks this, and then we can begin to see how we can be able to scale in. But for now, price is accumulating between this region. Because if you can see clearly, this is what around this region, price has just been accumulating. So we will only be interested when price reaches this area, and then also when price reaches this high, because this is our weekly resistance and all of that. So for now, sit back, watch. Just sit back and watch. Okay, so let's look for another card pair. Card pair that does not have any of the pairs that we've already analyzed. So let's look at a card. AUDCAD. Okay, so again, like I said, we want to always look at the highest time frame possible because that is where the trends are better defined. Okay, so we have our yearly high, which was that, and now here we have our yearly low, where price is a little bit nearer to it, and then we have another year's low, so we can have the eventual this low. Then when we come to the monthly, we want to be able to understand price here. Like we had in our end card that we just analyzed, you realize this was an area of resistance. Price comes down, reaches this resistance area, and begins to distribute. And all along, we've been having or what you would call the downtrend. And here we are now, prices reaching this yearly low, which will act as our support. All right, so this will be one of those good areas to look for buying opportunities. But look at this monthly low. So will price be able to reach this monthly low, break it and come here, or we can just bounce off from here? That is what we shall have to see. So when we come to the weekly, what do we have on the weekly chart? So on the weekly, this is our weekly high. So price could not reach this high. So from here, it just bounce off. So what do we have to see? So now we understand we are trading around here. So the only way in which we can be able to trade if price is able to push here, but now price is not even pushing there. It looks bearish, so we will have to wait and see whether we can get some accumulation around here to be able to bounce back off, or we can just have to take trades around here. So the green part is for the risk, and this gray is for, the blue is for the risk, the gray is for the target or the reward. So will that happen? Yeah, like that? That is what we shall have to see. All right. So this is a breakdown on this pair. So so please trade next week carefully. Use proper risk management. The reason for proper risk management is that you get to stay in the game for long. So if I get a trading opportunities, I don't want to risk the whole of my account there. So I can calculate and risk a certain percentage and then wait for the next trade. If it plays out well, that is why we are trading. If it hits the stop loss, then you want to do that. So this is a brief breakdown on some of the pairs. So I want to wish you best of luck and thank you for watching. Kindly share it with anybody else who would want to. Thank you.